So for me, what's really insightful of the process, the coaching process with Beyond Coaching so far, is to observe the movement in the client, the kind of transformational moments from closeness to openness, from apprehension to getting a new insight that provides a real spark in their own consciousness about the theme or the question that they've asked.
What I found to be quite intriguing in these last months when we give some services to some of our clients, what I found very interesting, one was obviously the initial resistance that transformed itself into common exploration. It's as if the fact that we were four and the client was one was not relevant anymore during the call. It was just a conversation in five people, very inspirational, and the client was participating. All of a sudden it was blending in this common conversation, which I really appreciated. And the second thing that I like quite a lot is how we are using these what people perceive as limiting mean, which is Zoom, basically, is a video conference to connect with one another amongst ourselves, but also with the client. And the moment in which we all connect, it's like if the video is not there, it's like we're in the same room together. And I think that's amazing, given that we all perceive this mean as limiting. Now we're finding ways to connect and to include the client in this type of connection. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really important to keep in mind. In fact, it's part of our logo. We call ourselves C5, yet there's only four of us, except the fifth one is in fact the client in this case. In which case, particularly what Davide said, is there comes a moment in the conversation, and this is the real issue here, where the client and the four of us become one unit. And the state of mind that supports that transition is in fact the type of inspiration that allows the client to look at his situation or her situation in a completely different way, which is in fact the essence of what coaching is about. In other words, it's never about giving advice, it's about assisting the other person to step into another way of looking at the world. Now, because there's four of us, each one asking their own perspective and presenting questions and ideas, suddenly the client's mind opens up files to respond to four people. And instead of looking at the world through one set of lenses, suddenly they got a much bigger perspective. So it's a combination of multi-perspective and transition in a state, which generally happens halfway around the session. And so these 2 points I find absolutely fantastic. And as Davide said, the video just disappears and you're kind of in this other world. And so that's really quite magical, something that I've enjoyed and looking forward to spending that kind of time with you.
Yeah, and for me, what is happening is that we took sometimes the four of us to basically be able to dance and create emergence. And having done that, now we bring a fifth person, which is a client. And having done already the emergence between the four of us, it's much easier now for the client to join and to be part of this dance, the five of us. So I will classify it as emergence. And for me as a coach, the value of it also is that I'm like actor and observer, because we are four to speak or five to speak. There is time for observation much more than when I'm coaching face to face. And that gives also like a type of different quality of coaching in the way I can reflect and provide new insight or new perspective.
And if I can pick up onto that as another go, what is really good is the metaphor. I think Davide or Alain brought it up first, was the whole metaphor of a jazz quartet or quintet, where we invite the client in to jazz with us. So we have these instruments that play solo from time to time, but then step back and the other instruments come back. And so similarly, as our insights comes into emergence, we play together and we find connection point and exit points naturally and spontaneously. in the conversational style. And that for me is really exciting.
And I just want to add one point for me is about your team and what Leon said about jazz coaching. In the new normal, that's where we are moving to. We are moving towards emergence. We are moving for people doing jazz together. And if you want a snippet of this experience, just come with us and see what it is, and just see how you could apply that to your team.
So given all that, now we're inviting you to a free 30-minute session, which we call chemistry session, for you to experience what we just talked about. Because one thing is to talk about it, the other thing is to be immersed and experience it to see if that's something that you are interested into. And we look forward to seeing you and to be with you here.